All right, everyone. So in this video, I'm going to cover the Detail tab in the Develop mode. And it's something we haven't talked about yet, but I think it's a good tool if you're wanting to refine your image a little bit and deal with noise reduction. So here, you'll see that we're in the Detail tab in Develop. And you're going to have this little preview window here. And what this is doing is this is allowing you to see your image at 100%. And then under this, you're going to have a couple of different options. The first one here is going to be sharpening. So this section here allows you to do exactly what this says. It says sharpening, and you'll be able to sharpen your image. You'll see that you also have this kind of window here that looks kind of like a target. What this allows you to do is it allows you to choose different parts of your image. Okay, so if I'm hovering over the image here with that activated, it's showing me different parts of the photograph at 100%. And it's going to allow you to be at 100% because it wants you to be able to see really close to your image in order to change your detail. Okay? In this case, we're going to be sharpening. So I'm just going to stay here at the side. And what I also like to do is I like to change the setting up here as well. So not only do I use this window here, but I also want to zoom into my image as well. So right now I have this at 200%. Again, you can change this, right? So we have even further. I think 200 is a pretty good distance to view this at. You don't want to get too close, okay? So you see here, as I'm zoomed in, you can start to see some of the digital distortion that's happening with the photograph, right? And so remember we talked about ISO, the ISO affecting how fast your camera is photographing at. And when you bump up your ISO, the noise in your image is going to increase, right? And you can see here with this photograph, I'm photographing at 200 ISO. So there's not going to be a lot of digital noise to deal with, but I'll just show you what you can kind of do with this image, okay? And know that sharpening and noise reduction kind of work together. And so here you can see if I change the sharpening amount, that means how sharp the image is going to be. If I pull this forward, you can see if we look here in our little window, but then also here in our image, the pixels are actually becoming more sharp. Okay, so this is again, it's affecting your pixel sharpness, which is going to make your image look more sharp. And whenever you're doing this, you want to be very subtle. You don't want to overdo it. Okay. So I'm just going to show you again moving this around. So if I go too much, you can see that the image starts to look really funky, right? We have these kind of swirls that are happening. So we don't want to go too crazy with this. Again, it's subtle. We start at 40. Okay, so that's what the original is. And we're just going to go up a little bit. The radius here is going to be the amount of area affected around the pixel. So right now we're at 1 pixel. If I pull this up, it's starting to affect now 1.1, and we go all the way to 2. I think that's a little too much. Again, we're asking. Again, we're working with subtlety. You can see kind of the swirling that's happening, and then you can affect the detail of it. Okay. If you ever want to check yourself, you can turn this on and off and see exactly what's happening. So you can see it's actually done quite a lot, maybe even too much. You can kind of see the swirling happening. And then the masking, which I don't usually use that often. Okay, so now you can see, turn it on and off again. It definitely is sharper, but we are dealing with this kind of swirlingness that's happening. And remember, we're at 200%. Normally, when you're looking at images, you're not going to be at 200%. Mostly, you're going to be looking at them here. But for the sake of this, we need to work in close to see exactly what's happening. This little window here is probably a better indicator of what it's actually going to look like to the viewer's eye. Okay? And then with sharpening, noise reduction kind of works in tandem with it. So if we reduce the noise, you'll see that it's going to smooth things out. Right? So it's this balance of like sharpening the image and then going in and smoothing it out so it doesn't look unnatural. You may think this is kind of counterintuitive. You're like, why am I going to sharpen and then smooth it out again? But it's a way that you're affecting the pixels. You're putting them kind of back into place after you sharpen things up. So again, the detail, right? You can adjust this as well. And we want to be subtle with this. And this takes a lot of practice, so I would take my time with this. And if you're not comfortable doing it, because you folks are not going to be printing in this class, it's not that big of a deal. But if you were going to print your images, it does help to sharpen just a little bit. And then again, contrast being the contrast between the pixels. Okay. So again, checking here up in our preview window, kind of seeing exactly what it would look like, not really at 200%. So it's looking okay, I think, here. Again, we can turn this on and off to see exactly what it would look like before and after. And it is much sharper. This here is the texture in the building, so I'm not too worried about that being like too swirly as it was before here. You can check other parts of the image as well. Let's zoom out here. That's a fit. Look at other parts of the image and see how they're looking. This might be a good area to work too, so we can click here. And maybe we'll zoom in here and just kind of look, see what's happening here. Again, it's looking pretty good here. Much, much sharper. Okay. So again, if we look at it how to fit, and we turn off here, and this is really where you're going to kind of see what it would look like if you were viewing it at a regular distance. Okay. I don't really mess with the color and the detail down here and the smoothness. And again, when I do this, it's very subtle, and for this image, I probably went a little overboard. So again, if you're going to mess with the detail, sharpening, and your noise reduction, go slow. Know that, again, it's not going to be required for this class. But if you do start to print your images, this is going to be a good place for you to work to sharpen your image up just a little bit to account for any softness that's happening with your photograph. All right, so that was the Detail tab in Develop. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.